Our Creator has sent me to declare to mankind that He is preparing to purge out all of you who will not return to His instructions that He gave us to become as He is. It really is arrogance and willful ignorance that man has not sought after their Creator's purpose for creating them. He made the resources that we needed to determine His desire for us available to us. The small part of His creation that He allowed us to witness and to experience testifies to His glory and to His almighty power. When I was still in the captivity of Satan's matrix of Christianity, I remember attending a seminar that was sponsored by an organization called Focus on the Family. It was a study called the Truth Project. The presenter was a man named Del Tackett, and he and his team did a marvelous job producing this seminar. It was a seminar that testifies to our Creator's awe and the fact that He created everything with His perfect design. But what is amazing is how the people who put together this seminar, along with the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or maybe even more people than this who saw this seminar, could acknowledge this almighty Creator, yet still not hearken to His instructions. This truly is willful rebellion, and it is outright arrogance. It is incredible that man has the nerve to tell their all-powerful, all-knowing Creator who gave them life what they will obey or not obey and how they will serve Him. But He has allowed for this to happen while He called out those who have become His temple. He has allowed for man to go their own way and to thumb their nose at Him, but now the time of man's self-rule under the helm of the Father that they chose over their Creator is about up. Nearly all who have ever lived have chosen to live under the tutelage of Satan and his crew instead of hearkening to their Creator and allowing for Him to become their Father. And now His long held back fury is at the door. However, He is giving mankind a choice. You can turn back to Him and He will heal you. There are many prophecies that speak of the scattered nations of Israel turning back to our Creator's Torah in the last days. Today I'm just going to talk about 3 of these prophecies that are key concerning the days before His vengeance. All will have to hearken to these prophecies if they are to be delivered through the coming time of calamity that He is sending forth. Isaiah 58, verses 13 and 14, if you will turn your feet to the Sabbath and do my desire on my set-apart day, it's important, He set the Sabbath apart and He commanded us to set it apart, and call the Sabbath a delight, the sanctified of Yahweh, and glorify it, and glorify His path, referring to His Torah, and attain His desire by speaking His words, then you will delight upon Yahweh, and you will ride upon the high places of the earth, and I will feed you the heritage of Jacob your father, because the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it. This passage certainly has always applied to anyone who would turn to His Sabbaths and delight in them and delight in His path, but it is a specific prophecy for the last days. The preceding verses speak of a time when the breach between Him and man would be repaired and the paths of old would be restored. What do you think these paths of old are? Turning back to the hearts of the patriarchs who become His saints. I have no idea how man thinks that they can justify not keeping the Sabbath or telling their Creator when it is. And how do they think that they will still be found in His favor even though they will not obey Him? It really is vanity gone wild, they spoke of the other day. I heard what false prophet Ron Weiland actually say that if any of his congregants so much as even mention anything about the new moon cycles being different than he teaches, that they would be disfellowshipped from his organization. Of course, that would be the best thing for them, but this is not my point. My point is that this man, just like most who have ever lived, tell their Creator what they will believe and what they won't believe. They pick and choose what to obey and how to obey Him. If it doesn't fit their preconceived ideas, they just dismiss it. If our Creator gave us an instruction to obey Him that is so important to Him as the Sabbath, He would have to give us instructions to determine when it is to be. And He did. You have to do this especially when you consider that His Sabbaths are a sign between Him and those who are His. And he knew that he was going to one day scatter his people for their rebellion, so he had to give us a way to return to his Sabbaths if he was going to command us to return to them. This should be common sense to you folks. Yet most of man has not feared being in disagreement with him enough to even search after his instructions for when his Sabbaths are to be. They just believed into Satan's systems of Saturday and Sunday worship instead of fearing their Creator to see what he has to say about it. Many have even heard the overwhelming evidence that our Creator has a calendar that he gave us to determine when his Sabbaths are, and they still reject his instructions. The self-proclaiming witness Ron Wineland and his wife, who he declared is the other witness, are of these people who refuse our Creator's word on this subject, even though they've heard it. And there is another pair out there that claim that they are the two witnesses as well, that have heard the evidence and still reject it. Well, I shouldn't say that both of this other duo have heard the evidence. I've only spoke to one of them, but you would think that he would have discussed something this important with the other so-called witness. In any case, both of these duos who claim to be our Creator's prophets uphold the great lie that Saturday is the day of the Sabbath that came out of Judaism. I'm not going to speak on the evidence in this video that proves that our Creator's Sabbaths are determined from his lunar rotations. I've spoken on this evidence in several of these videos, so I will refer you to them. I'll put the list in the description box of this video. Rejecting his word and rejecting the evidence that he gave us to support his word is willful rebellion to him. Will you return to his Sabbaths and return to them when he says that they are to be and delight in them? Or will you choose to get purged out in the coming days with his wrath? And returning to his Sabbath is not all of what this is about. He said that you must delight in them and glorify his path. His path is outlined in his Torah. His Torah is his instructions how to stay on his narrow path. It is the roadmap. He is saying that you have to choose to delight in his instructions, and the only way to delight in them fully is to become submerged in why he sent them. They must be a hunger and a thirst because they lead us into his righteousness, and we are to hunger and thirst for his righteousness. In the preceding verses in Isaiah 58, starting in verse 1, he speaks of crying aloud and sparing not, and speaks of a particular fast that he has declared for this very time that we're in today. This particular fast is in a couple of days, and it begins at sundown on the 9th day of his 7th month and lasts until the sundown on the 10th day of his 7th month. The 9th day on his calendar is Friday for much of the globe, and it is Saturday at sundown for others. It is a 24-hour period of time where we're commanded to afflict ourselves. Do you even care about his commanded worship days? You had better start. This particular Day of Atonement is very special, considering that it is the last one before his Son that he sent to atone for us returns. I spoke of the instructions for this day in the 7th month high day videos, parts 1 and 2. Will you turn to his high days that he commanded, or will you continue to ignore them or pervert them? I say pervert them because some celebrate these days in hypocrisy and just celebrate them to be seen as righteous before him instead of obeying him to become righteous, to become his righteousness. His high days are part of his Torah, and you are being commanded to return to his Torah as well, or be purged out from before his face. There are many prophecies that say that Israel was scattered because they departed from his instructions, because they departed from his Torah. Why don't you believe these prophecies? And there are many that say that if they will return to them, or return to his Torah, then they will be delivered and healed. He said that he would send his messenger to tell those who would return to him to remember the Torah of Moses with the statutes and judgments. Read this in Malachi 4, starting in verse 4. Remember the Torah of Moses, my servant, which I commanded to him in Horeb for all of Israel, with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. And he will turn the hearts of your fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. This is a reality that you will not be able to escape from or hide from. You either return to his Torah, or you will face his indignation. Not believing him will not make his wrath go around you. Not believing him is not going to get you delivered. He is not interested in you continuing to tell him what you think is true. He is telling you what is true. Will you hearken, or will you remain with your head buried in the sand, believing Satan's lies? Don't you fear him enough to even consider why he is sending his wrath? Surely most of you believe that one day his wrath would come, so why won't you believe why he said that he was going to send it when it does? He tells us why. He said that he is sending it because all have departed from his Torah. What is so hard to understand about this? Do you think that his servants made these prophecies up? He is also commanding those who will return to him to offer up an offering of righteousness to him at this time. This offering is what he was referring to when he had Isaiah record to cry aloud and spare not in verse 1 of Isaiah 58. He has even declared what this offering is to be, so that you do not have to guess about it, what it is. He described this offering in the tithes and offerings video and in a cry to arms video. They're found on this site. Malachi recorded him commanding this offering, and earlier in chapter 3, start in verse 1, he said, "Behold, I will send my messenger to prepare the way before my face. And Yahweh will seek you and will suddenly come upon to his temple." And the temple referring to the 144,000, and they're going to be caught up to meet Yeshua when he returns. "The messenger of the covenant, whom I delight, will come to you, says Yahweh of hosts. Will you receive him the day of his coming? And who will stand when he appears? Who will stand with him?" He's saying. "Because he is like a refiner's fire and like fuller's soap. And he will set as a refiner and a purifier of silver. And he will purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, so that they may offer to Yahweh an offering in righteousness." And this is what these videos were sent to do, to purify a people and to refine them. Are you hearkening to them? These are prophecies for the last days. It is impossible to refute this. But go ahead and try if you want, and remain stiff-necked, and you will get ran over by his wrath. But he is crying out to you to hearken to his instructions that he is giving through his servant. Will you hearken, or will you forbear? Most of you who are hearing are forbearing so far. The other thing that our Creator has been saying in regards to returning to him is you must return to him with the right motive for doing so. Some are just turning back to his Torah for the wrong reasons. If you return to his path just to save your neck, he will see in your heart that you are not returning to him because you want to become his clay and desire for him to mold you in his likeness. You aren't going to fool him. You're going to have to undergo a paradigm shift in your mind and desire to be as he is. Then he will deliver you. Just consider the small number of people who are recorded to have found favor with him in the scriptures. It is not very many people. 144,000 people in nearly 6,000 years is not a large flock. Yeshua said that few find the gate. Why don't you believe him? You don't believe him on anything. Why do all of you in Christianity think that you have found favor with him, even though you have trampled his son's blood underfoot? He offered you his favor through his son's blood, and you spat in his face by rejecting why he offered his son up on your behalf. Are you really that arrogant that you believe that you can be as you choose to be and still be found in his favor? Did he change? Did he become not righteous? Did he stop telling us to become perfect and to become holy or set apart? Did his son lie when he said that unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and of the Pharisees, you will in no way enter into his Father's kingdom? Are you really that willfully ignorant? And the answer is, sadly, yes, you have been. But he's crying out to you to turn from the lies that you have embraced and return to him. And it starts with returning to his Sabbaths and the rest of his Torah with the intent to become his people. Repent, his kingdom is at hand.